Hello everyone, this is Kelly Beard of KarmicTools.com, and this is your weekly forecast for February 8th to the 14th of 2026. So this is last call for Sacred Crafts Night on Wednesday, February 11th, 6 to 9 Eastern. And if you haven't already, go check that out. And our week kicks off on Sunday the 8th with Venus squaring Uranus. This represents an unforeseen test of growth, a fusion of Venus governing your values and priorities, and an interaction with Uranus, symbolizing sudden and seemingly unexpected occurrences. Although it may feel spontaneous, it is actually an invitation to explore something different within your love life, finances, or relationships. Embracing a conscious effort to approach things in a completely new way holds the promise of valuable lessons and unexpected blessings. As revelations spark within you, the initial reactions or responses will likely emerge from those closest to you. If your relationships, whether personal or professional, have reached a juncture demanding change or closure, now is an opportune time to openly discuss these matters with detachment and objectivity. This energy might provoke a craving for excitement or a desire to shake things up in your relationships. However, it is also crucial to remain aware and considerate of others' emotions, as they may not be receptive to the awakening or abrupt changes being activated within you. Alternatively, this energy can facilitate candid discussions, fostering agreements or compromises. Ultimately, this period tests your adaptability within relationships. The more rigid or attached you are to the status quo, the more disruptive this energy might seem. Flexibility becomes paramount in navigating and harmonizing amidst these potentially transformative moments. So, squares the challenge to grow out of comfort zone into new territory. Venus is our relationships and resources. Anytime she engages with Uranus, it's time to shift some things around. And that's on the 8th, so 2 days later, she enters Pisces. Venus moving through Pisces activates the values of healing and wholeness. It is the most creative and inspiring for artists or healers, and for the rest of us, perhaps a little of that fairy dust and synchronicities will rub off. It is a good energy to reflect on how you will infuse your spring goals with soul and beauty. Later in spring, the energies are going to get active and fiery, so let's use the cool waters of Venus and Pisces to reconnect with our own intuition about what might be worthy of our attention and investment this year. I also cooked up this little list of light and shadow when Venus is in Pisces, so enjoy. The light side, well, since we're doing the full moon preceding the new moon, let's do the shadow first. We're clearing all this so that we can call in the light. And I will add that Mercury's lingering in Pisces and going to connect with Venus backstage. So this is a super creative time. It's a developing in the womb type of energy. Basically, we're getting ready to birth our new values and priorities, whatever they may be, based on the last 1 year, 2 years, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So the shadow list and what we're clearing as Venus moves through this terrain or this part of our chart, waking up our values there too, being overly critical and demanding in love, self-doubt and inability to deal with confrontation, prone to martyrdom, self-sacrifice, and manipulation, insufficient boundaries and subsequent confusion, being delusional and having blind faith in love or money, excessive anxiety or fear of loss and abandonment, lack of faith or inability to connect to and follow your own intuition, unreasonable fears or phobias regarding love or money, imbalanced and entangled with social fears and collective trauma. Okay, so that's when you're feeling overwhelmed by everything going on around you. That can happen when any planet's in Pisces, but here it's probably feeling pretty personal with Venus. So if anything on that list is bothering you right now, it is supported to be cleared over the next 3 to 4 weeks. The light of Venus being in Pisces is being your mystical, magical, imaginative, devoted to love self. That's who we're pulling out. We're redreaming ourselves. We're redreaming our lives based on these new values. Being spiritually anchored with innate self-trust when you're really connected to your own intuition and your spirit team. So you're listening to yourself and you're listening to your higher self. ability to heal and integrate fragmented relationships. Pisces is also the culmination and completion. And if things have run their course in certain ways, that's okay. We can let things go. Or it's a time of healing after being estranged, where we come back together and reintegrate at a higher level, hopefully. This is valuing your intuition and knowing your connection to source. Not what we believe, what we know, okay? Dissolving boundaries so greater love can emerge. Maintaining a connection between your body and spirit, so those daily practices have to be at the top of the value and priority list too. Acknowledging and honoring the divine or sacred feminine. Being a world server dedicated to global oneness. Ability to easily navigate other dimensions of reality. So, like I said, this is pulling inward to dream the new dream, to develop the vision based on the new values, based on the last year of experience or more, based on where you're at with your own cycles. I would also add here that this is bringing Venus back to Pisces for the first time since she went into Pisces, Aries, and retrograded and kicked off the cycle we just hit the midpoint of. So I've been talking about that already in early January. We hit the midpoint in this current cycle. So as an additional aside, I would say consider how far you've come with your release work and the way that you've reset your life in certain ways. Look at what's complete, what's whole, what is already integrated, keeping you strong. And then knowing that that's your base and what you're going to birth something new out of next when she hits Aries for the first time since the retrograde and the reset in Aries. So this is all connected and really powerful with Mercury retrograde in Pisces backstage. Now, Friday the 13th, before I even talk about the last activation in the energy, is a special day in honor of Venus. While we still talking about Venus in the dream realm and the alternate dimensions, I'm going to try really hard this year, y'all. I have wanted to do this for years and years and years. It hardly ever works. The idea on Friday the 13th is to stay in bed all day with your lover, making love in homage to Venus, or Oshun in our world, is the way to celebrate Friday the 13th, which of course has been hijacked in other ways to make you afraid of it, because this is where it could get juicy. Why I bring this up is we have two chances, February and March, come with a Friday the 13th. So just putting that out there. Spread the love. Let's be all about the love when we can. But the energy of this day is also a huge deal because Saturn is re-entering Aries once and for all. Saturn makes its final entree into Aries, and I'm calling it rooting the flame, reclaiming your fire and activating new forms, which is what we are supported to do this year and next. So that's even more important that we're coming out of this Venus moving into Pisces so we can dream something new, Mercury moving into Pisces so we can imagine something new, Saturn moving into Aries so that we can birth it, something new. This is to the tune of 30 years, so the late 90s kicked off the same similar energy, but with a completely different sky pattern. The energy in the sky was different, you were different, so our responses to Saturn and Aries was different. We can do that a whole new way now, especially for those old enough to remember. As Saturn, the great teacher and keeper of time, crosses the threshold into Aries, the sign of pure essence and primal beginnings, we stand at the edge of a new cycle of selfhood, freedom, and independence. If we can be fully responsible for our choices and present in our exchanges with others. Saturn now arrives in Aries for the first time since 1996 to 99 in order to refine that self, not to diminish it, but to sculpt it into something authentic, resilient, and rooted in spiritual maturity, gained from navigating the last 2 to 3 years in Pisces. So Saturn just spent 2.5 years in Pisces as well, bringing a lot of attention there that's leading to what we can birth as it moves through Aries. Saturn in Aries says, do the inner work, own and contain your fire, define your own reality. This is the soul's invitation to start again, stronger, not from innocence or naivete, but from your own earned wisdom. Deep breath. Saturn in Aries is not about doing what's been done before, because this world point activates all new territory on individual, social, and collective levels. It is about stepping forward with courage, integrity, and a willingness to build something entirely new, starting with your own identity and purpose. Aries energy sparks revolutions. It starts fires. But Saturn tempers that fire, giving it a container, direction, and sustainability. This is the initiation of a new cycle of reality, where the foundation of life undergoes a profound rebirth and restructuring. It is not the time to cling to what was, but to face what is. Saturn's presence is not here to indulge our fantasies or illusions, but to guide us gently and firmly into alignment with truth. The truth of who you are and how you live, and of what you are committed to becoming. This is a reality check and a time to stabilize a new foundation and birth a new reality, individually, socially, and collectively as well. And I have a full post that you can read or listen to. It's only 19 minutes long. There's an audio and a video that goes even deeper into what it means to have Saturn moving through Aries over the next 2.5 years. And of course, we had a call, so there's a replay for that. And if I'm not mistaken, the replay is in the post, so you can get to all those links really easily right here. So that's it for our week. Be sure to review the relevant reflections and upcoming events in the February monthly missive, and know that you can often find everything that I discussed in my forecast or on my blog anytime you're looking for links or something specific. So I hope you'll join us on February 11th for Sacred Crafts Night. We'll do another one of these days, maybe quarterly. We'll try to work it in if it's popular. So reach out directly when you feel called, and have a fantastic week. This is Kelly of Karmic Tools signing off.